Thank you for clicking to watch this video. It's going to be very interesting, and I'm going to be making some very vital revelations in this video. This is weekend. Today is the 10th day of August 2024. I know wherever you are right now, you're enjoying your weekend. You are with your families or with your loved ones or something, but I hope you're watching, and also you're having a good time watching, not just watching and mourning, but if you're mourning, may God console you. If anything has gone wrong, may God provide what your needs are, and may you have a good time, the rest of your life. We really, as humans, we always would encounter good and bad. So even if the bad is happening, just believe that God is there to help out as much as it is, because we all will experience some things good, some things bad. There's time and season for everything. And I want to also appreciate those who are rejoicing. Remember those who are mourning, those who are suffering, those who are hungry. Remember to be there for them. This video is going to be very interesting because I am going to be making some very sensitive, comments that are very, very important. Not offensive, but sensitive, but of course, very important for us to reason very well as a people and to do what we need to do now that we have the opportunity. Now, I don't know, some of you have not noticed that the Nigeria leaders, have actually given you the roadmap for how you can get your freedom. And you see, there's something there's something that is called body language. And there's something that is called also reading in between lines. When you want to understand some things or some facts, you don't need them to be said, literally the way they are said, but you have to understand in between lines. And this day I'm going to try to make us reason along the line of my thoughts, and then we can understand. The Nigeria system has given us clue on how they have set the roadmap for us to get our freedom, to be able to get our freedom. It is not strange to you, of course, if you have been here, and if I will tell you now that we actually came together as Nigeria because the British conquered the indigenous tribes. It is not strange if I tell you that in Africa, most of the names we have as indigenous people were based on the fact that we were conquered by the people who came from foreign lands. It is not strange, of course, it is not a new thing for you to hear about the problems that Africans are going through and the cause of the problems. When we were little, I remember there's something called body language. Our parents we understand that very well when they give us some kind of signs and some kind of, gestures. We know what to do and how to behave at that particular time. When visitors are in the house, you receive some gestures and all of that. And these gestures reveal some stuff to you, what you need to do, whether you have to get out of that place or whether you have to just do something at a particular time. Some eye contact and some body language from your parents will tell you what to do at a particular time. Now, anytime you find tyranny, some people call it tyranny, anytime you find slavery, anytime you find yourself in a situation that is not supposed to be, the truth about it is that the person who is your captor or the person who is controlling you at that point in time actually gives you clue on how you can free yourself. They give you clue. But the problem here about the Nigerian narrative is that over time, the slavery experience has affected our mentality so that we, and not just in Nigeria, but in Africa generally, the way we behave and operate. Now we have clues everywhere, things happening around us that God has remembered and has given us opportunity to free ourselves. And I want to talk to Nigerians right now. The leaders in Nigeria has given us the roadmap, and I'm going to be stating out the roadmap to you today. You might not have you might have seen it, you might have read about it, you might have sensed it, but you might not have reasoned along that line. So I'm going to be making you understand today. They have given us a roadmap to decide to be free. But because we have been battered, we have been distorted in our mindsets, we have been affected in the way we think, the way we behave, the way we operate by the dictates of slavery or by the consequences of slavery, which affects the mind. We have found ourselves at the point where even when we have clue or they tell us to be free, we don't want to be free. Now, of course, some of you know that, of course, this analogy of maybe a goat put in a place for a long time. You take a goat and you put it in a place, in a cage. I remember one time we used to have a dog, where we lived, and all of that. The dog actually attacked our last boy in the house. He was very little. He was very little then. I think he was about 2 years old or less, or so. The dog, very violent dog, and he attacked him. It was surprising. The dog attacked him, almost killed him, and we had to rescue the situation. What we now did was we took the dog, put it in the cage for 1 year plus. As soon as we decided to open the cage, because we kept it there, it was no more coming out. We made sure it never came out, just feeding it from there and all of that. As soon as we opened that cage, after 1 year plus, the dog was just standing. It couldn't come out. It was just there. It didn't want to come out. And we were wondering, come out. It can't come out because the mindset has been restricted to be at a location sorry please, at a location, and consistently so that it has affected the mindset of its instinct to operate the way it's supposed to operate because of the longevity of the situation, because of the psychological battering, the psychological battering that it has affected, that it has received from the restrictions that was put on it at a particular time. You hear of some people going to prisons, and they are kept in solitary confinement for a long time, and then you discover that it begins to affect their psyche. I was listening to a particular lady, and she was talking about how she was in solitary confinement. They kept her at a place, and she was almost losing her mind. She was locked up. She was accused of spying for the Israeli government or German government, I can't remember now, and she almost lost her mind. And what she tried to do was, as humans who can manipulate the situation based on what we reason at a particular time and how we want to reason it out at a particular time. So she was concerned about seeing how she can begin to think about either her childhood or when she was in primary school, or either the things that have happened to her that were actually not palatable or painful to her, things that were not really going to make her think about love times and having good times with relations and friends and loved ones and all of that. Because if she remembers that, it will pain her so much, she will miss them so much that it will begin to affect her psychologically, affect her emotionally and all of that, and she could lose her mind. So all she was concentrating on were things that were not really significant in her life, primary school times, bad times, situations that were odd and all of that. And it helped her keep her mind together so that when she came out of the cell or the prison, she could still walk with her mind intact and still operate in the world that she lives in. Now that dog could not, because the dog became so dull. We became very peaceful because it could no more bark. When strangers come into the compound, it's no more a threat. It's just they're looking at people. It now became like, what you call mumu. It's now became very stupid. It became like useless. Having the dog was useless, because we kept it in a situation that is not natural to its approach of our expectation. Our expectation is that it's going to stop criminals, it's going to make people watch how they move around, it's going to help us for security and all of that. Now it has become stupid. Because why? It is kept in a confinement for a long time. The same way also in Africa, especially in Nigeria where things are supposed to be happening, people have been kept in the confinement of slavery, the confinement of mental degradation based on the slavery narrative and the application of slavery dictates in the lives of the people. It has affected the way the people operate. It has affected the way the people reason. It has affected so that when you tell them, go, they say, no, we want to remain. Go and get your nation. No, we want to remain as Nigerians. You know why? The mindset. That was why Mazen Nambikano, or that is why, let me not make it in the past, it's current, continuous. That is why Mazen Nambikano focused, or is focusing on freeing the minds of the people. And we that are his disciples, we are also talking about how our mindset will be freed. If your mindset is not free, when criminals come to tell you they are seeking for freedom, you will go after them. That is why today we have many people following criminals who are claiming to be going for freedom. They are extorting monies from them, they are taking monies from them, and all of that. That is not the evidence of your freedom. In fact, your enemy gives you more clue to how you can be free. And the enemy is actually the one the one you know that is the enemy, not the one you think is your friend who is claiming to fight for freedom for you and then stealing from you. That cannot be seen as an enemy to you. But definitely that's the most enemy that you have. But the one you think is your enemy, the one that is the slave master who is actually using these ones against you, that you don't even know that they are being used against you, that is the enemy that gives you the clue. Because from the clue it gives you, you can understand the operations of those ones who are coming around to say they are seeking for freedom for you. Now, for instance, if you look at Mazen Nambikano and his approach and everything he does, you will know that this is a true son of God, fighting and sent for the redemption of people. Now, I told you what we're going to be talking about is the roadmap. We might not finish because I'm just giving you a brief, just giving you some analysis that will help you to begin to reason. Because by the time I unleash the information to you, you will now begin to understand that you are already set by God to be free. You will now know that the Oduduwa people already have the roadmap to be free. The Biafra people have the roadmap to be free. The Hausas have the roadmap to be free. By the government or by the leadership of Nigeria, they have given the roadmap. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to reveal it to you so that you can see it. I'm going to reveal it to you because you need to understand this thing. But first, I want you to refreshen your mind as the information comes in. You begin to utilize the information very, very effectively and see how we can spread this gospel of truth so that people all over the nations of the world and all the people who call themselves Nigerians will understand that even the politicians, the Nigerian leadership, they know that you are not a Nigerian. They know you are either Oduduwa or Biafran or Hausa or Jugun or Shekiri or whatever. Of course, many nations jumbled into a particular tribe. Into a particular nation called Biafra nation. We have the Shekiri, we have the Ijaws, we have the different people coming together to form that. And Oduduwa, of course, similar. We have different tribes coming together to form the Oduduwa nation, even if their languages are similar or might not be similar or somehow. But somehow they have common factors that bring them together. And that is what nationhood is about. Common factors bringing people together. How can you be killed by people who are not part of your nation, and yet you are still struggling, you are still telling yourself that you want to remain with those people in a particular confinement? That is slavery mentality, because the issue of slavery has battered your mind, has restricted your reasoning, so that when they tell you leave this cage, you say no, you're not leaving the cage. You have to understand the criticalness of the situation. And that is why sometimes, rather than getting angry with those who are claiming to be Nigerians, I feel bad. I feel sorry for them. I feel very sorry for them. I feel very pained. And because of this, I always want to speak in the light, not from the point of anger, or when people, when I see all these ones who are, some of them sending death threats, they want to kill you, they will do this to you, they want to, all this was sending death threats to me and all of that. I just wonder how they reason anyways. But the truth here is, you are trying to help people and they don't want to be helped. You are talking to people to understand. You are telling them this is danger, don't get in there, they don't want to. The same way Mazen Nambikano was talking, some of them were coming, people were coming against him. They said he's looking for his popularity. He's looking for popularity, he's looking for, attention and all of that. But the truth here is, now most eyes are open. Even the Oduduwa nation, even the Hausa nation, even the Middle Belt, all of them, they know now that Mazen Nambikano was truly fighting for freedom. Now they know. But we have to move from that knowledge to the next step. This is where I'm going to give you the information that Nigeria leadership, both the religious leaders, both the political leaders, both the traditional leaders, have given you a roadmap. They have set the roadmap, and you will come to understand the roadmap. I'm going to reveal them here. Now, Nigerians also should understand that the world, especially Africa, is looking up to them. You see, from what is happening in the world now, when God begins to set the stage for you, you have to begin to read in between the lines and know what to do. What is happening all over the nations of the world now is a proof of a revolution that is global and that is strictly to help people save themselves from the claws of colonial control that has lived with them and distorted their minds, destroyed themselves, destroyed their nations, destroyed their culture and tradition, destroyed their way of life, destroyed them for years. In Israel today, in Gaza, in Lebanon, in Syria, in Iran, in Iraq, in every part of the world, in Sudan, in Russia, in Ukraine, in Somalia, in Democratic Republic of Congo, several places of the world, lots of things are happening. And if you observe critically, if you are a very critical observer, you will know that these things are happening to set Africans to understand that it is time to be free, especially those who are trapped in Nigeria, to be free. Now I'm going to go into details about these facts because of the time. I don't want this to be too long, so that you'll be able to watch it and then prepare for the next that is coming. I'm going to be revealing the roadmap that is set by the leadership of Nigeria for us to be freed. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm going to tell you where you're going to find it. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to explain everything to you in details as we go on in this narrative. Because we all have not decided to be free, that is why that even when they give us the roadmap, we don't understand the roadmap. We still want to fight the roadmap. We still want to destroy the roadmap. We still don't understand their role in God using them to make us understand that this is the time for us to be free. But we must understand these things, and that is why we keep talking, and that's why I'm here. That's why I'll be talking about these facts and revealing these things to you, so that you can understand the fullness of what you need to know about this whole thing, so that you don't get yourself worked up by thinking that you would continue to hold on to something that is killing you and continue to allow something that is destroying you to keep you down and out. You must be free. It's time to be free. It's time, and the time is now. Watch out for the next part 2 of this. You're going to get the information complete. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. I'll see you.